I would say that one of the interesting things about Rattigan is, yes, he writes fantastically for women. Obviously, we've discovered that incredibly quickly. Yeah. But for me, he writes just as well for the men. And I think you can blow out of proportion to a certain degree, and take. I don't know how you take apart the women from the men, if you see what I mean. Mm. And for me, what's extraordinary and really exciting is just how well he writes for the women, as though he really genuinely understands train of thought. But then again, to contradict myself, is that the more we get into rehearsal, the more I realise, for me, he gets into the nub of every single character. However small the part may seem, I completely believe every single one of them. Do you know what I mean? Because for me, it's how he deals with human frailties and the mistakes we make in life, which we all do, and that turn into turning points that we don't realise. We can never realise it in the moment. But he, as a playwright, finds those moments, and as a result, X, Y, and Z happens, and person A turns into someone quite different because of this particular moment that he happens to have caught. Mm-hmm. And what he catches is the innocence of that moment, but he realises the wider repercussions that can happen as a result of that moment. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I don't know how you feel. I don't know if you feel, does he write specifically well for women, or can you not really take that apart from what he also does for men?
There's not a wealth of writing for actresses of this standard, so I think therefore you kind of hone in on it, but it doesn't, you know. I think what's interesting about him as a writer, say for example, is that this is a play about a trial, but you feel like every single individual within the world of the play is on trial in some way or another. You know, they have to go through you know, that it's sort of all about cause and effect, and where that leaves you. And I think that to say that Alma is an amazing character, or that Edie's an amazing character, and it doesn't, you know, it could just negate the fact that all of the men in the play are just as tender, just as confused, just as complicated. And I'm sure many actors pick up Rattigan and go, "Oh, I'd love to have a go at that too." But I think it's just that you breathe a sigh of relief. I think often you think, "Oh, fabulous."
So one of the interesting things is, in terms of when he was writing, was the fact that he was completely unafraid of putting women at the centre of, you know, the beating heart of a play, and that's really exciting.
I think there isn't a bad part in it. Watching rehearsals, you know, watching your scene with your son, it's one scene he has, and it's heartbreaking. And it's heartbreaking from your point of view, from Alma's point of view, and from Christopher's point of view. You know, my son, there's a scene between my son and his friend Randolph, you know, just delicious. And the sort of thing that if you were looking for scenes for a drama school, you know, showcase, you think, why don't you do that? You know, why has nobody done that? So I actually think, yes, hooray that Alma and Edie are so rich, and indeed Stella, another wonderful female character. But there isn't a bad part in it, and you can see, looking around the rehearsal room, the sort of the savouring that's going on. You know, that every person, when they get their chance, there's real meat there for them to work on.